Hi, my name is Eduardo Romero,
My name is Chris Avila.
and we are a part of a two-part special presentation of pop counterculture. The cast of us. Last time we recorded, we talked about the first game, and this week we're going to talk about the second game, fully in depth, full spoilers. But before we get to that, like I stated, we are part of the pop counterculture media family, which includes the Mandatory Cinema Podcast, which this feed is a part of. Arts and Craft Beer, our interview show. We're going to be interviewing some pretty... Well, we can't announce who we're going to be interviewing yet, but it's going to be kind of a big deal. And then also Talking Shit with Angie and Ed. Now, I know these shows haven't been coming up, and that's because Angelina has been sick lately. She's had to go to the hospital and stuff like that, but she's going to be fine. She's going to be she's going to be coming back next week to get everything back to normal. So for the time being, we're going to go ahead and talk about The Last of Us Part 2. Now, when we last left off, we went ahead and gave our predictions of what our final scores were going to be for this game. Now, we're going to go ahead and give in depth into our reasoning, but to kind of start off the conversation, Chris, if I remember correctly, you said you saw yourself going between a 7 and a 9. Where did you end up falling at?
I left off at an 8.
You did?
Yeah, like a solid 8, maybe 8.5. What about you?
It's a light 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and break this story down a little bit.
Absolutely.
It starts off a few years after the first game. We are in Wyoming at the Firefly camp at the end of the first game. It looks like Ellie and Joel have settled into a comfortable life in this very peaceful village.
Yeah. They got electricity going. They got produce, livestock. Mm-hmm. They go and they make their rounds, make sure that the infected won't reach their camp at all whatsoever.
They're rebuilding society.
Yeah, legit. And they're doing it in a rather steady way.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and Ellie seems to be a very well-liked person. Tommy and Joel are in charge of getting supplies. So it seems like not only are they very happy, but they're very much a part of this broader community.
Mm-hmm. They're fully rooted in there.
Yeah, they're necessary for it all to function. As the opening goes on, Ellie goes on a search for, is it Jesse or Joel?
It's Joel at first because the whole setup is that she goes on a patrol with Dina.
Dina and Ellie, they go in Jesse's grow house where they have a bunch of weed everywhere.
Weed everywhere.
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 And so they smoke some weed and then they make love, and then we cut to the beginning of this game's problems. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Chris.
You switch roles and you play as Abby, and you find out that they're after somebody. Mm-hmm. They don't tell you who it is, but you have a pretty strong idea of who it is. Abby wants to truck ahead and at least find a way into the settlement to take care of this person. Mm-hmm. The rest of the group is like, oh, the storm's really bad. We probably shouldn't do this. Let's just retreat. We'll attack it in a couple days from now. Abby says, fuck it, and decides to go it on her own. And you start wading through the snowstorm on your own. And Abby says something to the effect of, this storm is getting bad, which I thought, okay, this is the basis of the theme here, is that you're wading through the storm alone. Like, there's nothing around you, and it's just you. Mm-hmm. In time, you get overrun by infected, and you get saved by none other than Joel and Tommy.
Right.
This takes a very dramatic turn when they introduce themselves, and Abby realizes that the man that she's been looking for is the one who saved her. She's been looking for Joel.
Tommy and Joel follow Abby back to the resort.
Full
and then
of people they don't know.
Yes, exactly. And then they are just openly like, yeah, we're Tommy and Joel. We're part of this. And it's like they're telling these people that
even Joel, as he says that, he's like, oh shit, probably shouldn't have told these people. They know me.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a frustrating thing for me to watch. Lampshading is lame. There's no excuse for it. If you're conscious enough to write in your dialogue that what you are doing is a bad idea or it doesn't make sense or stupid, then you need to just rewrite the fucking scene. Just simple as that, Putting a lampshade on it isn't an excuse for how completely out of character it seems,
Did you read his Neil Druckmann's explanation of why that happened?
I didn't know. I want to say something real quick. Yeah. This is going to be the first of many rants on my part.
Oh, absolutely.
Chris, I want you to take this control. What I'm handing Chris is The Last of Us 2 Special Edition controller. Feel your right palm. Does something feel like it's popping out a little bit?
A little bit.
If the plastic is badly formed, there's a little bit of piece of plastic that sort of digs into your skin.
For real?
You don't feel it at first, but after a few hours, this thing
Yeah, I feel it.
This thing is not.
Oblong shaped.
Yeah, it's a little sloppy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't hate it. I don't wish I didn't have it. It's a controller. And it's a fine one.
It looks nice.
Yeah, it looks cool. I like the design on it. You know.
But yeah, no, that's.
But it's very disappointing, and I think that sort of sums up how I feel about this series in general, because originally I intended on getting a platinum on this game because I got the platinum on Uncharted 4. I had a great time with it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure The Last of Us 2 is going to be just as fun.
Probably.
By the time it was over, Chris, I deleted the fucking game.
Oh,
right
you
away.
Straight deleted
it.
Ooh.
Deleted it.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. And I spent the extra $10 on the digital special edition, and feel a little silly. I feel a little silly, man. And we're gonna get into the reasons why as we dig into this a little more.
Yeah. I beat the game, and don't get me wrong, I was fucking tired. I don't want to play any other game that's this emotionally draining for about 2 weeks. But no, I didn't delete it. I just know I'm not gonna touch it for a bit. I have a 2 terabyte hard drive hooked up, so it could just sit there. It's fine. If I really need to, I won't mind deleting it.
I just deleted it out of spite, man.
I'm so sorry.
and in fact, funny you say you mentioned that at the end of it you don't want to play. Throughout this entire generation, I have always been on the fence of buying the South Park games. You know, I'm a big South Park fanboy. Then halfway through playing this game, it went on sale, and Chris, these last 3 weeks of my life have been all The Last of Us. I beat the first game for this podcast. We edited this podcast, spent a few days editing it. I forced my way towards the second game. After these 3 weeks, man, I needed to play South Park.
Yeah.
I needed a palate cleanser.
Yeah. I went the opposite route. I played Sekiro Shadows Die twice.
You're just a glutton for punishment,
kind
man.
of, yeah.
But back to the story. So basically, Tommy and Joel basically put out their whole life story, which
legit
is weird to these total strangers. And then, sure enough, Abby finds out that Joel is the person that she is looking for, shoots him in the fucking kneecap, and then we
almost takes off his whole goddamn knee.
It looks like it,
and just in brutal. It's so brutal, efficient, and like there's nothing but hate in her eyes.
Oh yeah,
she does this.
This is the first of many times where like I swore Tommy died.
Yeah, no, Tommy should have died a lot of times throughout this
He's
story.
Like Kenny.
Also, can I just say there are 2 characters in this entire game that I just absolutely just fuck this character by the end of the story. Tommy's one of them.
Yeah, and Owen's the other, right?
Owen's the other.
Owen's the other. Okay,
for very different reasons, but fuck Tommy and fuck Owen.
Yeah, definitely. We switch back to Ellie. Eventually finds Joel as Abby is essentially bashing his heads in with the golf club.
This is where all the golf club mini games memes came into play.
It was a clever spoiler.
Yeah.
Abby brutally murders Joel as Ellie watches on in horror.
And she's fucking begging for Joel to get up and take care of them all, and Joel's just watching her watch him die.
Yeah.
It's fucking traumatic.
It's a strong opening.
Yeah,
it's a strong opening, despite switching to Abby. Which, I mean, it's the beginning of the game. I wasn't a fan of it, but I was like, let's go, let's see what happens. Then we cut to the fallout, which is, of course, everybody's mourning the death of Joel. Ellie, especially, is taking it hard.
As Ellie, you have been mourning over Joel's grave, and this is a really cool thing. It's very similar to the moment where Joel and Ellie are looking out over the Seattle Pass right before they hit the hospital. You can stay there as long as you want, and it makes it. Don't get me wrong, it makes it sadder. But yeah, you can stay there because that's when gameplay opens up, and then you walk along. You get to your house. You try to get some stuff from Joel, like specifically his watch and his gun.
Right,
and then you meet Maria. That's how you find out that Tommy has gone off on his own, and then she's like, all right, Ellie, go on ahead, go out. It's not official. I'm gonna let you sneak out. Just bring back my husband and don't die.
Right.
And then that's where you start playing in Seattle. You just quick cut to Seattle with Ellie and Dina. Dina tags along of her own free will. You know,
in the last podcast, we were talking a lot about Seattle Day One, because it is by far one of the longest sequences in the game.
Oh, yeah.
And it sort of speaks to what I think a lot of people are getting at when they do criticize this game, is that it's just too much.
It's very open.
Another thing that I did to mellow out after the intensity of The Last of Us is I'm trying to get the platinum on Red Dead, so I'm just kind of doing that.
Oh, good luck.
Oh, I'm actually getting close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like at 87% of the.
I only ever got to like the beginning of chapter 2, and then I let a friend borrow it, and then he moved to Fresno.
Oh, funny.
So I don't have my copy of the game anymore.
That sucks, man. It's a great game.
I know.
No, but you know, it's
it.
funny because playing through The Last of Us and playing through Red Dead, you know, there are times where I think the biggest issue with this game is that it's sort of like stuck between two worlds.
It is.
What Naughty Dog has excelled at this whole time is the sort of linear storytelling. They've been experimenting with the open world games. The Last of Us isn't really the kind of treasure collecting, you know, platforming kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a very dour world. So because of that, we're going through this open area. All I could think was like, either shit or get off the pot, man.
Yeah.
Either find a way to actually just make an open world. Just make the open world and then do what Rockstar does. Find a way to structure your story
to where you're traveling through the open world.
Yeah. And then that way, and then you can determine your own pacing. Because the problem with this game is that, yeah, it's an open world, but it's also an open world that the game sort of funnels you through.
Yeah.
Like it is a linear game, to the point where it does take away a certain aspect of agency that makes open world games work.
Yeah.
And in a linear game like this one, the agency that you are given is dependent on like what the developer wants to give you in order to make this story section work. It doesn't click together.
Seattle Day 1, the whole urgency is, okay, we're going to go find these guys and we're going to kill them. Let's explore. Let me go to this bank. Oh, let me go to this like post office. Let me go to the school or something. It's
all interesting.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But there's the dome building right there. I can see it. Let me go all the way around just to...
Yeah, just because we need the gameplay elements here. You know?
And don't get me wrong, I had fun with it, but it does kind of detract from the overall agency of the story, like you said.
The gameplay is the best Naughty Dog has ever done.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down. Horizon Zero Dawn has amazing combat too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but when I want to go fight dinosaurs or robot dinosaurs, I know where they are. I'll go there.
Yeah.
When I just want to explore, you know, this game just like you have to go through this shit.
Yeah.
You know? So what happens on day 1, Chris?
Fuck, I don't even remember.
Right? Okay, I want to actually touch on that.
I know the dome building is a synagogue, right?
Well, before I get to that, the last podcast we did, one of the things that I said was I was surprised playing through The Last of Us Part 1 how well I remembered everything that happened in this game. I had to look up, I had to watch a YouTube like video and then like take notes to get our summary for this because so much of it is just...
And I think it's because so much happens in the second half of the game, where there's a very obvious split between Ellie's time and Abby's time. And Abby's time, this we'll get into it later, but Abby's time took so much more of my memory than Ellie's did.
Because it definitely burns in your memory.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so day 1, so she's searching for Tommy in the middle of a spore cloud. Ellie falls, her mask breaks, and Dina tries to take hers off for Ellie. Ellie stops her, and this is when she's like, no, I'm immune. Like, I know I told you this earlier, you didn't believe me, but I'm breathing it in, I'm fine. So, and then she's like, and by the way, I've experimented. I can't infect anyone else through saliva or anything, which I was big scared about at the end of the first game. Yeah. I was like, she can never like have a life. Like she can never love anyone.
I wondered that
through saliva, wouldn't she be able to pass it? But I guess not.
Yeah, and you know what? I really thought they were setting that up for a twist.
Yeah.
Because kind of flash forwarding a little bit, at the end of the game, there's a climactic moment that ends with Ellie forcing somebody's hand while her hand is on his into the mouth of a clicker, and the clicker bites her. And dude, I really thought that there was gonna be like
that was gonna go somewhere.
Is the immunity waning? Did the immunity mutate?
Yeah.
Is she gonna become a clicker or something? Is she gonna be a clicker that goes back to the farm and then little JJ kills her because like he doesn't recognize the monster?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I thought there was gonna be something cool with that.
That would.
Something
that might have been a better ending.
It's just just my writer brain. It's just my writer brain.
That would have been an interesting ending, no matter what.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things that people theorized is that like the infection mutated or evolved, and Ellie's no longer immune.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone thought with the gas masks.
Yeah.
But then we find out later on that it's a ploy.
I think Ellie telling Dina that she is immune, it's a very subtle turn for Dina because up until this point, their relationship is very cute. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
I really, if you come here to have us complain about the inclusion of LGBT characters or minorities, you're in the wrong place.
Very wrong place.
Yeah, we're acknowledging these people exist is not a.
If I could have a shirt that says hashtag I love Lev, I would wear it.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
there's no
right?
shirts. I love Lev. I'm sorry.
We'll get to
He's-
Lev.
yeah.
But my beef with Lev has nothing to do with the fact that he's trans.
Yeah, no,
that's all I'll say. But anyways, back to the story. So before this, Ellie and Dina are this adorable couple. But then Dina discovers that Ellie's immune.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think there's a way that any person can live in this world and find out that someone is immune and not think about all the people that have died.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
I'm not saying necessarily that Dina knew about the fireflies or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure that's something that's both shocking to take in, and at the very least does kind of color how you view someone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as it goes on, we go into the theater where it is discovered that Dina is pregnant.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are pregnant in this game.
Yeah, well, okay, this is a game of a lot of like mirroring and a lot of like, you know, kind of what's that word? Dualism is definitely a big part of this game. The journey that Abby and Len go on is the exact same journey that Ellie and Joel
absolutely
go on in the first game.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, but we'll get to that. So that's the end of day one. It sort of ends in this very with this interesting development that Dina is pregnant, and then Ellie sort of doesn't know
how to deal with that. She's a little pissed off.
Exactly. Chris, how did you feel about this part of the game when you were playing it?
So again, it was long. Then there was the whole thing about faith. I took a very introspective look into that. I'm not into religion, but I'm into faith. I'm into like hoping and believing that things will get better.
Yeah.
And the whole synagogue sequence where you have Dina, who's very much a believer, and Ellie, who isn't. I looked at it as like a kind of like a hope in the darkness kind of a moment where, as bleak as things can get, we should always kind of keep a light, as however dim it may be,
right,
to try to get us through it. And that's what I thought Dina represented in that whole sequence, especially because Dina's Jewish. I'm not sure what all the different religions are, but Dina's Jewish, and she was supposed to burst into flames by walking to a synagogue. I'm not sure.
I don't know nothing about that.
She made a joke about how she's like, it's a synagogue,
right.
and they're like, what? And she's like, well, I didn't burst into flames, so I don't.
Yeah.
I myself,
I'm
I don't know
guessing
enough
it's
about
because like Dina would have burst into flames in like someone else's religion.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm an
But,
atheist myself. I've been an atheist for most of my life.
Yeah.
But you know, you're right. I'm glad you kind of brought that up because, you know, as an atheist, I do believe that in the absence of religion, it's important for an atheist to fill that in with something else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a nihil. I've definitely gone through my edgelord nihilism phase. I'm not gonna lie. I was 18-year-old once.
You've gone through your idolizing Rick phase.
Yeah. But back then it wasn't Rick. It was what was his name?
Bojack?
No. This is like I was 18
shit.
in like 2008. So
Oh.
what was his name? He was a comedian.
He was a comedian?
Yeah, he still is. Anyways, he was David Brent on The Office, the UK Office.
I haven't seen the UK Office.
Everybody's probably screaming at it because it's a very famous comedian.
Is he the main dude?
The British guy?
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I just
but
don't
I
have
can't
his
think the
name. Yeah,
everybody's listening. He's like screaming at it. But anyways, so
down in the comments, real time.
Yeah,
tell us who it is.
For real. No, but yeah. So I do believe that if you're an atheist, you do need to replace it with something because otherwise you do just become dark. All that you become The Last of Us Part 2. You become punishingly bleak, you know, and for what end?
Yeah, if you have nothing in your life that's driving you other than just like self-preservation and hate, then yeah, you
get a hobby.
Yeah,
get some friends,
please.
Yeah, definitely.
But also like, yeah, you become The Last of Us Part 2.
yeah, exactly. So at the end of day one, we cut to our first
Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais. There you go. The original Rick.
We got it.
So we do get into our first flashback, which is one of my favorite sequences in the game.
It's so heartwarming.
Yeah, look, despite all the flaws, and this game has several flaws. When this game is working, it works. Yeah, it works really well. And this museum sequence is definitely part of it. It's almost a callback to Left Behind.
Yeah. No, without a doubt, because, I mean, you're playing as Ellie, and there's absolutely no collectibles. I mean, hardly any, anyways.
There's no combat.
No combat whatsoever.
Joel takes Ellie to the ruins of a natural history museum. And,
After he also gently nudges her into water, and this is where we find out he's been teaching her how to swim.
Right,
So-
yeah. And from what I understand, this takes place 1 year after The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I really like the hat. I love the
Yeah.
hat thing where you can put the hat on all the dinosaurs.
I did it one time because I didn't realize you could take it off the one dinosaur.
Oh no, you can
Yeah.
you can put it on, and then
Oh.
eventually you can put it on Joel.
Ooh.
Yeah, take a little. It's like a little. It's in a what's it called? A trophy.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotta
it's-
go back.
But it's, dude, I can't tell you how much I love this part of the game. I wish this could have gone on forever, just like Ellie probably does. Wish this one can go.
Oh
on
yeah,
forever.
legit.
This has one of the best moments in the whole game,
Oh,
and it's a callback to also the
Left Behind. You
What?
saw that too, huh?
Yeah, where she's in the space capsule,
Yeah.
and Joel is the dad of all dads.
Oh yeah.
He is father of the year
In this sequence, like I remember back in part 1 of this podcast, we were talking about how much of a monster he is, and like we start hating him, and then we like him, and then we hate him again. He comes full circle. He's likable dad man now.
In the flashbacks of this game, we see Joel as a changed man,
Mm-hmm.
as a totally changed man. There is something about knowing that somebody is making an effort for you and all that really hits you. And I think this is why it's important to have this memory in this part of the game,
Mm-hmm.
because she's lost. She's an orphan. Her only father figure and her real parents are gone. She doesn't know what to do. So she reaches back to this one moment where the only kind of like conclusion that she can really draw at the end is to just be there.
Mm-hmm.
To just be there for Dina.
Mm-hmm.
The best that she can.
Even though she herself is not totally in that headspace, she's still trying.
Yeah. Despite who Joel is, despite all that, the most important thing about their relationship is that they were always there for each other.
Mhm.
And at least I think that's what Ellie gets out of it. And then we cut to the next day.
By the way, should we talk about the rocket sequence or no?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
If you
yeah,
got more
no,
to say.
it's just this really heartwarming sequence where he gets her to put on a space helmet. They get into this little shuttle, and he finds a tape with the recording of one of the rocket launches, and gets her like the Walkman and has her play it, and like live out the feeling of launching into space.
Right.
And it's the callback to Left Behind, where Riley is having Ellie, was basically walking Ellie through a fight on a game, and it's almost the same sequence. It's got the same effect, and it's just
Yeah.
to find a tape in this world,
Right.
and that a cassette tape of all things.
On a working. Yeah, okay, maybe it stretches the believability, but you know what? It's such a great fucking
Well,
moment.
I was just talking to like the effort he had to put in
right,
to find it.
Yeah, no, that too. And so day 2 goes on. At the end of day 1, Ellie has a lead that Tommy is at the hospital.
TV station. Hospital's day 3.
Hospital's day 3.
And this is because Nora is there, and they've basically not hacked, but they've patched into all the radio transmissions between the
wolves.
The Washington Liberation Front, and they are describing a lone gunman who is a scavenger or whatever the fuck they call him, because he's not a Scar, he's not a wolf, but yeah. So they think it's Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
So, 2 birds, 1 stone, TV station.
But when he's in the news station, he actually is saved by Jesse, who is Dina's ex-boyfriend right before Ellie and Dina started hooking up.
Yep.
And so Ellie and Jesse escape the news station with the news that Tommy's actually at the hospital. Ellie takes Jesse back to the theater. It's this whole awkward thing
Where he knows something is up, but she won't give him a straight answer.
and not only that, but Dina does kind of give off vibes towards Jesse a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, in this sequence. We have our first encounter with the Scars.
Oh, fuck the Scars.
Okay.
They're so brutal.
You think so?
They led to a whole lot of cool moments for me.
Yeah.
But like specifically the sequence where you're like playing on the broken highway, I had to play that 10 fucking times.
Yeah.
Or at least like 5 or 6, just because they overwhelm you. Like, and you don't know what they're saying because they're all speaking in whistles and everything.
Yeah.
And you don't know if they're like coming up around you. You don't know if they're gonna send in the bruiser. It's just it's chaos.
I
when they're
wasn't.
around.
I gotta be honest here, man. I wasn't as
Challenged.
No, man. I mean, I cheesed it.
Okay.
I figured out how to cheese it on my first try.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not even cheesing it though. It's just, I mean, you just they just keep your distance.
Yeah.
and draw them out.
Especially-
Just draw them out one by one.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, if you got plenty of arrows or like you've got your silencer like upgraded completely where you get 5 shots.
Yeah, I
You
did. I
could-
did actually at this point.
Oh,
so,
then yeah, just hide in the grass, shed them all one by one as they find each corpse.
Yep. Yeah, and also just stay in the outskirts. Don't go through the middle. You know.
Oh,
Here's the
really?
thing- yeah. Here's the thing. Like,
Oh.
you know, maybe it's because I tend to prefer harder stealth games. That's my kind of like my go-to. So I mean, I kind of figured out a way around them pretty easy, man. I mean, I did enjoy their tactics. I think it was cool, like on a visual level, and it did make me more tense than with the wolves. But man, this is a lost opportunity for me, because for the most part, like, let's just say, if they would have programmed the scars to have like just slightly better vision, I don't know, something, but like it just I was kind of let down by the scars
Yeah.
throughout this game.
There I'm not gonna lie, there were moments where like they should just automatically see me, but they're staring at me dead in the face as I'm holding an arrow to them.
Yes.
So
Yeah, which I mean, I understand this gameplay.
yeah.
You know, you got to commit to your vision at the end of the day. But we do kind of learn more about the scars. Chris, tell us about the scars.
They're a religious group based on a woman who had scars on her face. I'm assuming like kind of like Joker smiles,
Yeah.
kind of.
Mhm.
And they believe that the infection is a divine intervention because of the sins of humanity.
Right.
So their whole mission is to clear out anyone who doesn't believe in their mission and the infection, and they believe that will cleanse the world in their new vision, and they can bring the world back into balance with nature.
Right.
Yeah, because they very much live like
Off the grid.
like one with nature. Like they use guns, but like anything old world,
Mhm.
which is before infection, they're not even allowed to touch.
Right.
So like there's a point where you're walking around as Abby with Yara and you give her a flashlight. She's like, I can't touch that, it's old world. I feel like it's like it's commenting on the loss of a message or the loss of the meaning of a message. Like specifically when you're walking around the village as Abby with Yara on day 3, which we're flash forwarding here a bit.
We'll come back.
Yeah. She's commenting about like how none of the stuff about violence or anything like that is in her original works, in her original writings. It's all supposed to be about love and peace and like accepting one another and getting back to nature, but I don't think it ever mentions like not being able to touch stuff from the old world,
Right. Yeah.
anything like that. I think with that, it's what losing the meaning of something can do and how it can lead to such drastic corruption. I think it's a message about having something, one particular thing or entity define who you are, and when you lose that, what it does to you.
Right.
Yara and Lev, for reasons we will get into when we talk about Abby, lose their main support system, which is the scars for reasons. Ellie loses her support system. Ellie loses who's defining her, which is Dina, Joel, even Jesse, kind of, I think.
Oh yeah.
Tommy too. Like everyone in this
Maria,
game.
even at the end.
Maria, yeah. All these people are losing the thing that has defined them, and they're losing the purpose of it. So I think it's just they're grasping at straws to find new meaning.
Right. Yeah, it's sort of established some order in the world. After we meet the scars, we kind of get an idea of the scars and the wolves conflict, how it arose. There was a truce at some point, and nobody could agree who broke it. But as soon as it was broken, it was right back to all-out war. And we finally make it to the hospital. So we catch up with Nora. Nora is sort of a doctor for the wolves. She recognizes Ellie. And the game actually kind of has a question that comes up every single time Ellie meets one of the wolves. Is we left you alive.
Yeah. Why are you doing this?
Why are you doing this?
Yeah, no, legit, actually, they all ask her. I just realized that.
And this is a very pivotal moment because this is where we learn that Ellie knows that what Joel did. She understands
the choice he made and why they're all after him.
Right.
We're after him.
And yet she can't fucking help herself. She kills Nora.
Which Nora is pretty much already dead. You fall into a spore cloud. That's how Nora finds out that Ellie is Ellie.
Right.
I also want to make a comment. Ellie has kind of low-key been using the excuse of finding Tommy to pursue Abby. There's the moment right before you get to the hospital where you're climbing around the ruins and they find out that Tommy's not where they think they are. And Jesse's like, oh, well, we're going to go this way. We should find Tommy. And right at the precipice, Ellie's like, I have to do this. Tommy's okay. He'll be good on his own.
That's true.
Yeah. So it's very apparent at that point, whereas she was absolutely using Tommy as an excuse.
Yeah. We go back to the theater, and then we have our second flashback. Another great moment between Joel and Ellie, which is the guitar strings segment.
So you start off, and Tommy, he's letting Ellie pop off a couple shots at some infected just to keep the camp safe. And you walk around with him for a bit, and he's basically nudging her to talk to Joel. I thought it was interesting that you end up in the same place, in the same kind of hideout where Joel is. I think, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
No, it's not where they end up, it's where they take her.
Yeah, it's at a resort. It's at a resort type place.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So basically, he nudges them along to like go and find some guitar strings because Joel's like, oh, your guitar has been needing some restringing, and here's a music store down this way. So things are a little tense. Ellie's kind of having some issues talking to Joel. Joel doesn't really understand what it is. And then at the end of it all, through some infection, through talking about the mask situation where he doesn't want anyone to know that she's the one who was immune, and low-key him trying to like maybe not get her to go with Jesse, but just making comment that Jesse's been looking at her, and she's like, yeah, he's not my type.
Right.
Because Ellie's gay. At the very end, we find this couple who both got bit, and then one of them killed the other, but couldn't kill himself, so he calls himself a coward in a letter.
Right.
And lets himself get infected. This is where Joel steps in, takes care of the infected before it could bite Ellie. And I think Ellie's a little sick and tired of being protected by Joel.
I think so.
At this point.
Yeah.
And this is where they have the initial conversation. This is where you for sure know that Ellie knows for sure something is up. It's not just like a lingering doubt at the end of the first game. She asks him again. He doesn't want to talk about it, but kind of waves it off. But gives way a little bit because she's pressing about the Fireflies finding the cure.
Right.
And she's like, you said that there are dozens of others who are immune like me. Throughout all of our travels, I've never met a single person. Have you? And he just says, Ellie, I know you wish things were different. I wish things were different, but they aren't. This is how the world is. She takes his word for it again, but even more than the first time at the end of the first game, knows that he's lying.
Right. Another brilliantly written and acted moment in the game. So day 2 ends, and then we pick up at day 3, which is when Ellie finally goes to the hospital.
Hospital or aquarium?
Aquarium, my bad, yeah.
And this has been Abby's hideout this entire time.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So finally, everything's starting to come together. Right? Ellie finds where Abby is, kills Owen.
She tries to do the thing that Joel did to find her in the winter sequence of the game.
Right.
She'll have Mel mark something on the map where Abby's at, and then go over to Owen, see if it's the same thing, and then do that. But Owen kind of jumps the gun, and that makes a very jumpy Ellie pull the trigger on him.
Right.
And then Mel rushes her, and she kills Mel, and this is where you find out.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, well, this is where Ellie finds out, because at the beginning of the game, Owen tells us that Mel is pregnant. We just don't have a face to put to the name yet. This is where you find out as Ellie that she was pregnant.
Yeah, and very pregnant. Very
pregnant.
Very close to giving birth, it seemed.
Throws up, right?
Yeah, but it's this shit right here why I didn't care for playing Abby at all. There is a visceral self-loathing in Ellie throughout her whole journey. You see it in her.
You see it with, like, how bruised up she is.
Oh, yeah, the world's beating her back.
Yeah.
Ellie, we know where she stands in all this, and we feel for her, and it sort of kind of complicates our relationship for her because we know that she hates this too, but she can't stop herself, and we can't stop playing. It's a very direct one-on-one, almost like correlation between the audience and the character.
Ludonarrative dissonance.
That's where I'm getting to.
Yeah. Naughty Dog did a very good job of handling it.
Yeah.
In this game,
with
they
Ellie.
blended it. Yeah.
With Ellie,
they blended it very well together.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even bits with Abby.
Yeah, but Abby takes a long time to get there.
Yeah, that's
Ellie.
true.
Ellie, almost from the beginning, you kind of get the sense that she's tired of this world being as violent as it is. Even Neil Druckmann, before this game come out, said they never spoke the word of fun the word fun was forbidden
Yeah.
when discussing this game, and boy, do you feel it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make her more fun to play,
Mm.
but there isn't that disconnect.
Yeah.
Whereas with
because we've grown with Ellie over the 7 years.
yeah, whereas with Abby, I mean, they humanized her very well
Yeah.
from the outset, but I never got the sense that she thought twice about killing anybody, which makes sense for her character, honestly, given how Joel's actions shaped her.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Seeing Ellie throw up, she's so disgusted in herself, and then we do a hard cut to her bloody fist like shaking
yeah.
before she walks into the theater. Man, that despite how you feel, it brings you to that level.
What happens before you switch over to Abby?
Ellie comes back a completely changed person, a visibly changed person, only to
almost like she's on the verge of giving up and wanting to go back home.
Abby finds them, kills Jesse right out the bat.
Like straight up, point blank, clean headshot.
Without any more thought than you had into killing of any of Abby's friends.
Yeah.
You know, which speaks to the themes of the game. And then again, Tosh totally killed Tommy.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I could have sworn
Tommy should have been dead.
And you know, I'm not laughing because I don't like Tommy, but because like I thought he died so many times that
Throughout
like
this
now
game.
thinking back, it's funny.
Yeah.
Like, he shot him right in the fucking head.
Well, and no, I actually had a conversation with someone about this. I don't know how I caught it. My eye just happened to be at the right angle. But when she shoots him, it's very clear that the blood is coming from the side of his head, kind of like when Carl got shot.
But that's not the world of the leftovers.
Mean, true.
I mean, I'm
the
sorry.
Last of Us. You're mixing up your post-apocalypse.
In The Last of Us, if you get shot in the head,
you die.
Yeah, simple as that.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why it's funny. It flies against the tone of the series. It seems like she's about to kill Dina, and then the game shits the bed.
Hey everybody, I'm Brandon the Boss Blacker.
And I'm Lunchbox. That's one word, capital L, capital B. Thank you very much. And if you are into the world of professional wrestling, heavy metal music, horror movies, comic books, video games, and more, you can find us airing live episodes on Facebook every Friday at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time at the Talkin' Shop with the Boss in the Box Facebook page.
That's right. We have digital episodes dropping on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and Buzzsprout every Sunday at 6 a.m. So come find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and where can they find us?
At Talking Shop with the Boss and the Box. And now, back to arts and craft beer.
Talking Shop with the Boss and the Box. Talking Shop with the Boss and the Box.
Welcome to Los Banos Community Theater. Here at our theater, we are more than just a group of creative people. We are a family of all ages and all backgrounds who love and support each other and encourage each other to be the best that we can.
If you are in the Los Banos area and would like to help or act in the play for the Los Banos Community Theater, look them up on Facebook under LBCT. And now, back to our show. For me, really shits the bed.
Takes a very hard pace issue.
Takes a hard shit right in the middle of the bed. Rolls all over it before they wake up.
Because right before Abby pops a shot at Ellie, she also makes a comment of, "We let you live and you wasted it."
That's true.
And takes a shot at Ellie. And that's right before the shot goes off. Screen cuts to black, and then we rewind back to Seattle day one.
Okay.
And we play as Abby.
Tell me how you felt when that happened.
Oh, dude. I thought it was good. I thought it was just gonna be a really quick flashback sequence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no. And this is why even though I loved playing as Abby, and at the end of the game, I still felt it ended strong. It took a very hard pace issue because as Ellie, day 1 through day 3, you're building up tension, you're building up momentum, all to the point where Ellie's like finally like, I'm tired. Like, you're tired with her.
Yeah.
And it seems like she's on the break a point where she wants to just quit and go back home. She's had enough.
Right.
Because she realizes that this isn't her. You go back and you have a very calm, and this is the thing, is with Ellie, you're only safe in Jackson.
Right.
Even when you're out on patrol, it's kind of a tense situation, but you're only safe in Jackson because it's just you're a very small community. With Abby, you feel more safe. You have a whole squad of your friends. You have a whole, like, you have stations out in the world as the Wolves, and they know her. She's not like a big boss, but she's kind of legendary around there. She's kind of like the Joel of the Wolves, basically.
Right.
And you feel more comfortable with her. You feel more comfortable with the group. It doesn't feel as tense as it did at the beginning with Ellie.
Yeah.
So it's this very slow, like, okay, we got to go talk to Isaac.
The tone suffers not just because we totally shift to another character, but we shift to this moment of like safety.
Yeah, love it. Like, just
Complete.
You're completely safe. You're completely relaxed, and it's like nothing you do really matters because you have your squad with you. With Ellie, if you fuck up, like, you have to fight to get that win.
Right. How would you have felt, hypothetically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
if 2018 we got this game?
Emotionally
Let's just say if you had like all the time in the world to just sit with this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, considering the whole story at the end, do you think it would have made for a better experience?
If you just didn't play as Abby,
not right away.
Uh-huh.
Not if that was part of the same game.
I don't think I'd be as happy.
I think
I
I
mean,
would have been a lot happier,
Yeah,
man.
just because of the pacing issues, or
Yeah, definitely because of the pacing issues, because it feels like such an end.
Mm-hmm.
If I knew there was gonna be something to tie this all up, and I wasn't just gonna have like blue balls at the end of this, I wouldn't have cared. It would have been like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have had more time to sort of sit back and think about what I just experienced.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
True.
I would have been more likely to come back and play this game a second time
Mm-hmm.
if this was the second game.
True. What if they just structured it differently?
Oh yeah,
Where-
no, there's a
where,
lot of
like,
things they could have done.
If you did day one as Ellie, day one as Abby, day two as Ellie,
I
day
thought
two as
about
Abby.
that too. Yeah, or something. Because the biggest problem with the story is destruction.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some problems we're going to get into
with the writing.
with what they choose to do.
Yeah.
But my bigger issue, I think all those things would have been fine if they would have been paced better.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it's like I was saying earlier with Ellie, you have this momentum that you're building up, and then you reset the clock essentially with Abby, but you're building up to that tension again. And it's like, well, we could have just done them side by side.
Yeah. So the game shits the bed, and we pick up with a very sweet moment where we discover that Abby is the daughter of the doctor that was gonna save the world
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the
And
first
he had
game.
a very, he's a very sweet guy.
You
He-
see him struggle with it.
Yeah.
Which was what I loved, because like in the first game, like the Fireflies come off like such dickheads.
Mhm.
that
Like, they
in my-
just do it.
Yeah, then in my head they
And
were like, "Oh,
they-
put her on the gurney, cut the bitch up."
Legit,
whatever."
like they made Marlene look
Like a monster.
Yeah, like she was like, yeah, no, what vaccine? I'll sacrifice whoever the fuck I want.
Right.
In the first game, but in this flashback sequence, she struggles with it too. She's like, it's basically my daughter,
Right.
and you're asking me to give her up after I just got her back. But yeah, even though it's tough on him, he's still like, this is world changing. We've got to take this. And then he's asked ultimately, like, if it was your kid, and then Abby very bravely says, I would want you to do it. So that's kind of sweet. That's kind of humanizing.
But yeah, so we find out that Abby's dad was supposed to save the world.
Mhm.
Ellie was supposed to save the world. And we all know what happened. And then we cut to Seattle day one.
Mm-hmm. As Abby.
As Abby.
Mm.
Okay, let's just get this over with, Chris. Abby's story revolves around her relationship with Owen.
Yeah, which... Why?
Yeah, Owen is such
Manny is so cooler.
Right? Yeah.
I mean...
well, Manny has a girlfriend in the game.
Manny has a lot of girlfriends in the game.
He's a player.
He's a player.
Yeah. So the game starts off with Abby being called up to the Wolf headquarters, where she finds out that the Wolves are planning to use a coming storm
Mm-hmm.
as a matter of disguise to take out the Seraphites at their home island once and for all.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because the wolves themselves are running out of supplies to keep them in the fight against the Scars.
yeah, and she's been tasked to be leading the front lines, which she seems totally up and happy for. We get the understanding that Abby has a father-daughter type of relationship with the leader of the Wolves,
Mhm.
Isaac. And so from there, Abby asks about Owen, which even in the flashback, we hear the dad talk about her and Owen. We understand that they have some sort of romantic thing going on.
I mean, even in other flashbacks, it's very much a thing where, like, when you first find the aquarium, they're definitely a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so basically what happens is Abby asks about Owen, finds out that Owen's been AWOL for a few days. Abby refuses to leave without Owen.
And they refuse to give her permission to go and look for Owen because it will take too long.
Abby's homie Manny helps her out to get out of the camp to go help Owen, bring her back.
The aquarium isn't that far from their base. And she says, I'll be back by nightfall. Or I'll be back before the sun's up.
Right. And then what happens, Chris?
Then you get captured by some scars, and they're very ritualistic hanging and de-gutting. You get saved by some scars.
This is actually the E3
Yeah.
2017.
This is the second thing we've ever seen of the game.
Yeah. Abby is saved by these two siblings, Yara and Lev, who are themselves Seraphites.
Mhm.
But they're they're like teenagers and
Yeah.
stuff. They're not like the dickheads and all adults and all that shit.
So Yara gets her arm bashed in because she tried to save Abby for her own reasons, and then Lev comes in for the rescue. They push one of the Seraphites towards Abby, who chokes him out with her legs, and then ends up accidentally hanging because she kicked over the bucket. So they have a very quick discussion. Lev lets her down, and that's when you team up together. You have this sequence where you have one gun, very limited lighting, and you're running through the woods with Yara and Lev, who kind of know the way, but it's dark. It's kind of hard to tell. And you are being ambushed by infected and or Seraphites. I liked the sequence. I liked the idea of like running in the dark, not knowing where you are, not knowing what you're doing, basically, and talking about that in the grand scheme of things, not knowing where you are or what your actions are leading you to do. At the end of it, Yara and Lev hide in an RV, and you leave them. You have a very tense kind of a goodbye where Lev kind of wants to kill you because you're a wolf.
And you kind of want to kill Lev.
You kind of want to kill Lev too because he's a scar. But then Yara lets you go, and then you go back to Owen.
Before we get to Owen,
yeah,
I thought we were done with Yara and Lev.
I thought so too.
And I was like, weird, but okay.
I thought it was like a Henry Sam situation where it's like, okay, these are a side story that we are now done with. They're on their own.
Or I thought maybe they're gonna run across them when they go storm the island or something. Let's go to Owen. We'll touch back on that. Why don't you like Owen?
He's just so boring.
He
feels like a very inactive character.
Yeah.
His only drive is to get out of there.
He's just so aloof.
Yeah. In the past, he seems cool because he can be relaxed in the world that they're in against like the Scars, the Wolves, the Fireflies, or being an ex-Firefly, and then losing all hope in the world, and he brings some levity to the group. Yeah, and that's in the past, though, when he's younger, when they're like, what, 18, 19?
Yeah, when they're kids.
And then now in the world, it's just, he just kind of wants to run away.
Yeah.
Like, even at the beginning, he's like, I don't want to do this.
They try to give him all these shades.
But
from the beginning, and it kind of goes on, like, my biggest problem with him is, I think this is the only bad performance in the game, man. Because he, like, the actor, he's just too, shucks.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, millions are dead. What you gonna do? And
let's crack a dad joke.
All these games, both games have their levity and their goofy moments, sure.
Yeah.
But nobody's whole personality is just like, let's just chill.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
I don't think we've ever seen him in an action sequence, to be totally honest. I don't remember.
I can't remember either.
I saw Mel do more cool shit while she was pregnant.
That's true. That's true. So right off the bat, we start off with a character we don't like. We go through this sequence with the Scars, which we don't know is going to be an issue in a minute. Owen, who we are asked to understand Abby and his relationship, but he's not a likable guy.
He's not. He's a very boring guy.
He's badly written. He's badly acted. I lost so much interest. This game really, really tests the player at this part of the game because and I don't know if it was on purpose or not. I really don't think they would play this much with people's expectations.
Yeah.
But man, asking me to care for Owen was just a little too much, Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Mel,
I think it's more you care about what he does than him himself.
Yeah, I like what he stands for. I just don't like him. Okay, Chris, shop talk. How are we gonna talk about Owen? Do you want to really go like sequentially each scene, or should we just wrap it up as one major cloud thing?
Let's just do it that way.
Yeah,
the less we talk about Owen, I'm already drained.
Yeah, exactly. The less we talk about Owen, the better. Yeah, so let's just say, to save time, all the flashbacks are Abby and Owen. In the second one, Abby and Owen have sex, and everybody loses their mind.
No. They don't have sex in the flashback. They have sex in present day.
Right.
When he's still with Mel, who is pregnant with his kid.
Which is another.
This is actually a big reason I hate Owen.
Yeah, another
he's
reason.
So indecisive.
Yeah, he's such a fucking idiot because then like Abby's like, I'm gonna go get those fuckers or whatever, and then Owen's like, I'm gonna come with you, and then fucking Mel's like, no the fuck you're not,
Legit.
and then Abby's like, get your priorities straight, Owen.
Yeah.
Even she's like, get your shit together.
Legit. fucking jit.
But we're somehow supposed to feel bad when he dies.
Mhm.
I don't. I'm surprised he made it this far.
Legit.
Let's put it that way.
Because he just sits around kind of moping about like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Just leave.
Which is what he wants to do.
Yeah, these aren't the Scars. These aren't the Fireflies. They're not gonna like hunt you down because their priorities are straight. You don't mean jack shit to them.
You're not contributing shit to anybody's cause here,
legit.
man. You know, so if we need to talk about Owen, we'll talk about Owen, but that's all I really got to say. But anyway, so as the story goes on, we are going to take care of Yara and Len.
Yeah, because at the end of day one, she has a dream where you walk through the hospital again. And I was like, oh, we're playing this again? Okay.
I thought so too. I thought we were going to get some more information.
Yeah, but then when you walk through the door, it's instead of the surgery room, it's an image of Yara and Lev hanging in a tree with their guts spilled out, and then we wake up and what I took away from it is that like if she can save Yara and Lev, she can kind of forgive herself for taking Joel from the world.
But she's clearly not sorry.
Yeah,
at all.
No, yeah, I know
and
for a fact she's not.
And nobody should be.
True,
you know.
But like I don't know. I think it's more like she recognizes that she did her wrong.
I don't know. I really don't see Abby seeing herself as in the wrong on that one. That's the thing, Chris. It makes no sense to me.
What really settled that for me is that there's a scene where I think it's just Yara and Abby because they're looking for Lev out in the island.
Right.
As you're heading to the island, Yara asks her why she came back for them, and she says something to the effect of, I think I'm just trying to right a wrong. That was the one throwaway line that was like, oh, maybe she like doesn't feel guilty for killing Joel exactly, but like the act of it is weighing on her. Like how Ellie has been systematically killing all of Abby's friends.
Right.
It's weighing down on her.
Dude, honestly, I don't think the game knows what it's trying to say here.
Right.
To be honest, I really don't. I really think I think they had an idea.
Yeah.
And they didn't think it all the way through. To be honest, I think that was a lot with this game. Continue.
I think I know what the game is trying to say, but we got to get to the ending.
First of all, this sequence goes on way too fucking long.
Oh,
it's like 10 hours. You could have done it maybe 2 hours tops.
Yeah.
Would have been a much better story. It's a big bet that doesn't pay off on the part of Naughty Dog to ask me to really invest of this story of Abby learning to have compassion for Lev and Yara. I like Yara. I like Lev. I like Abby. I don't want to spend this much time with them. I don't buy Abby's turn. I get why the kids go with it, but I think even they don't really understand what Abby's going for here. And most importantly, I don't think Naughty Dog had any idea what to do with this part because they don't really do anything with it that they're not doing with anything else. Ultimately, they just kind of use this as an excuse to sort of show how both sides are evil. But man, everything in this game is about how both sides are evil.
Yeah, no one group is the hero in this story. In this story, in their story, maybe. Yeah. But their story is not the story.
And it's the same idea being driven over and over. It's like somebody saying the same thing 20 different times. By the 18th time, you're just kind of like, come on, man.
Yeah.
So then comes day 2. They need to go get medicine for Yara.
The Yara, yeah. They need to get the medical supplies.
Yeah, so they can amputate her arm without her dying. But the next thing that happens is visually my favorite part of the game. I will say this.
Is it the Rat King?
All of it.
Okay,
dude.
okay.
No, I'm talking like going all the way up in the skyscrapers.
Between
that.
Yeah.
It looks great in HDR, man. You got it's amazing.
And by the way, little character tidbit: Ed mentioned climbing the skyscrapers because it's the fastest way to get to the hospital. Abby has a fear of heights.
Yes.
So this makes a very harrowing experience for Abby.
Right.
And Abby is a very tough woman. She's very well built and muscular. I thought it was funny that such a tough person was like, height.
And this leads to my favorite moment of the game. The only time the game was actually fun for me, dude, was the Rat King battle.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost Dead Space 3 levels.
Yeah.
Like that, even going through like the tubular doors. It's like Dead Space 2, you know, when you have to go back to the Ishimura and then they have all the quarantine.
And me being a big fan of Dead Space, I missed it, but at the same time I was like, this kind of feels familiar because you're walking through almost the very bottom levels of the hospital where it's kind of flooded. and all the doors are locked, but you can hear all the enemies. You can hear the clickers and all that. You don't even see it at
Oh,
first.
you hear it at
Yeah,
first.
there's a door that's locked, and you try to open it, and something makes noise, and you're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But you go back around, you turn the power on, you come back, and the door's been busted in, and there's a lot of overgrowth, and
Yep.
it looks like something has removed itself, and it went through pain because there's a lot of blood there. It's like, what the fuck is this?
And
the
the way
doors
they-
are smashed
Yeah,
in.
and the way they set up this part of the game is
Mhm.
so great. It's in the old building.
yeah.
Where the quarantine first started, where the
uh,
oldest
yeah.
infected are.
And you find this is really cool because like you find notes about like how they were trying to deal with the infected before they even knew what the fuck was going on
Yeah, and it
while it
sounds
was
very
happening.
relevant.
Yeah, just,
right? I
Give
made
it-
those notes.
December 2020.
Oh.
Cast your votes now for infection.
Right? Yeah.
Mutation
The next
infection.
president is going to be a clicker, and all the Trump people are going to go crazy.
I hope.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wouldn't be.
But anyway, so we go through the hospital where, like you said, it's where the infection first broke out. So
Mhm.
you meet the Rat King.
The rat king.
I, honestly,
At first, I called it the amalgam. I'm a fan of if anything's ever a mix mash of things, I love calling it the amalgam.
I was just gonna say I have no
There's-
idea why it's called Rat King.
yeah, neither do I.
yeah.
Don't know why they call it the Rat King.
but it looks badass.
It looks fucking disgusting and badass.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying when you do enough damage. And,
Oh yeah.
And it splits apart.
Yeah, no, dude. Yeah, when
That
it
was
splits apart,
terrifying
and
to
then
me.
the fucking what is it called? The new type of enemy,
The
fast ones?
stalkers.
Stalkers. Yeah, when the
Yeah.
stalker comes out, and you got. Oh, I mean, I ended up fighting it later on,
Yeah.
but yeah, the Rat King sequence
Mhm.
is fun. It's
Yeah,
the only
because-
actual fun part of the game.
Yeah, because you have to make sure you have enough resources to survive the battle. They give you stuff throughout the map, but it's very tense because as big as he is, he's fast. And
Yeah.
if he catches you, he's a one-hit kill.
Yep.
I died like at least 3 times.
I love how this boss battle fucks with the 3-tier boss structure. Because you got your first tier where you're just running away from it, right?
Mhm.
Then you got your second tier where you're actually fighting it in between all those medical tents.
Mhm.
Love that part. I really fucking loved it. You see it split away, which you can shoot at it, you can set it on fire. And in my head, I thought it's dead because it was
Yeah.
just a stalker. And then you climb away, and then the third part comes in when you have to fight it.
Mhm.
Now, and it's faster and smarter than the other ones.
Mhm.
I love that part.
Is
man.
a very fun sequence.
Whoever designed that, you did the only
Yeah.
you did the only fun part of the game. Congratulations to you.
Yeah. So you get the supplies, you get back to the aquarium, and I am so thankful that every time you get the thing and go back to the aquarium, this is the sad part. This is what I didn't like about the game. I expected
To have to walk back.
to have to walk all the way back.
Yeah, I feel the same
And
way.
very-
Funny enough, every time we cut to black and we were just there, I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, they save Yara. By the way, at this point, we start to figure out that Lev is trans.
Yeah, because when you get into a scuffle with the Scars, they recognize Lev and call him Lily.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
and so the whole thing about that is that he shaves his head, which is specific to the men,
Right.
the born male of the Scars.
Mhm.
So by shaving his head and talking more like a man, that's him basically saying, well, this is how I identify, and
Right.
the Scars don't like that for some reason.
Right.
I'm not sure why. Is
I-
it like mutilation or like, oh no, it's the whole in tune with nature thing. Like you were intended to be this,
Right. Some shit
stay
like
this
that.
way. Yeah.
Like I said, I don't
Yeah.
understand bigotry, man.
Neither do I, to be
But-
totally honest.
but-
But this is
yeah.
that's the big issue. That's why Yara and Lev ran away. Yara yelled at him at first, but then kind of came to understand, like, this is my brother. I love him.
Yeah.
And this is actually a big push as to why Lev goes back to the island,
Mm-hmm.
because they've left their mother. And in their religion, if the children of a person does something dishonorable or whatever, and they leave the parents to kind of reap what the children have sown.
Mm-hmm.
Their mom, like, went into, like, 10 days of not eating or something.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she like shut herself into her house and didn't do shit.
Mhm.
So Lev wants to go back to the island and save her.
And so begins day 3, where we go to the Seraphi Island. I have a
which
lot of
is-
mixed feelings about this. Chris,
Uh-huh.
how do you feel about it?
I on one hand I'm just tired. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a big drawn out sequence.
Yeah.
And it's gonna leave me tired, and I just want to be done with the game.
Yes, I'm
Um,
right with you.
You're the only person there, and then you find Lev. He has killed his mom, because she was going to kill him. So in self-defense, he kind of pushed her. She hit her head on the table and is now dead. And
Right.
Yara calms him down, and they get moving. They try to get off the island, but they don't get off in time, and the wolves have started their attack.
Right.
So war breaks out. This is where I liked the whole thing about the whole ludonarrative dissonance, specifically with Abby, because throughout the game, you're only fighting scars as
Right.
Abby until this happens, where you start fighting wolves. But it's only after they've shot Yara, and this is why I love Yara, because of what she does after this. They've shot Yara. They're going to kill Lev. Abby throws herself in the way, and Isaac just indiscriminately is like, it's a scar. I don't give a shit. They need to die. And Abby's like, are you going to shoot me? And Isaac goes to shoot Abby. Like, it doesn't matter that he's like, is kind of like a daughter figure, or that she's a daughter figure.
Never
to him.
meant shit.
Yeah, like never meant shit, because there's a scar. They all need to die.
Right.
And Yara does the most baller shit. Shoots Isaac.
John Marston's it.
Yeah, but then, yeah, no, that's a good analogy.
Yep.
Because in the process, this is
Gets lit
also.
up.
Do you
It
feel
was
like
hard to watch,
It
man.
was. Do you feel like this is kind of commentary on police brutality, because it takes 4 people to shoot one person?
And it's like a
And
scrawny
she-
14-year-old
yeah,
girl.
and she's laying on the ground with one arm, and
Yeah.
like is already pretty much dead. And they're like, "Oh shit!" and they just light her the fuck up.
Yeah, it might be on accident,
It's-
dude, but I'll
it's
tell
so
you,
brutal.
Yeah,
It was like unnecessarily brutal, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's like,
I mean that was the point, though.
yeah, is that look at how the wolves are towards just to eradicate something that they don't understand.
Right.
So, and then at this point, Abby takes Lev into a building, and they separate themselves from the wolves. And Lev is pissed at her, says like, "Those are your fucking people that just killed my sister." This is where Abby has turned coat, and she says, "You're my people now.
Yeah.
Fuck everyone else."
Great
And-
moment.
Yeah, really great moment. Up to that point, you were trying your best to avoid the wolves, and
Right.
now free reign. At this point, they're at a full war, and there's this whole sequence where there's this big open field, and I climbed through the grass. I don't, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, going through the farm back.
Yeah, and like this little like quickie mart, this little diner kind of thing. I climbed through the grass, and I just let them
Yeah.
fight it out until
Yeah.
there was like maybe 4 or 5 wolves left.
Yeah, and that sequence only killed like maybe 2 or 3 wolves. That's it.
Yeah.
I just ran my ass right through it.
Yeah. I snuck all the way through. I thought you were supposed to.
Oh no.
Yeah,
just-
because okay, yeah, no, because like I found the whole path of grass, and it was like, oh, this is there.
Oh
I'm
wait, yeah, the
supposed to-
grass.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. You were talking about
The chase after.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, no, because that was awesome.
Yeah, the chase was pretty cool.
I don't think it was as cool as the Rat King, but it was more of a visual moment than there was a gameplay moment.
It's one of the best visual graphical
Yeah.
moments I've ever seen.
Yeah,
ever.
'cause
it's amazing looking.
Everything is on fire.
Yeah.
This is what hate gets you.
Mm-hmm.
Is these two groups who don't understand each other, who don't want to understand each other, and here at the very center you have one person from each group
Trying
trying to get out and to survive because they've come to understand each other.
Right.
And then it ends in a moment where at the very end you find a very tiny boat, but before you can even get on it, you lose all your shit. You get into a fight with a Scar, and he starts looking like some Outlast 2 motherfucker. It's a very brutal fight.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but that was one of the fun moments for me was the fight with that one
Yeah,
Scar.
that actually was a pretty cool moment.
You've lost all your shit. He's bigger, he's tougher. He has a whole like axe.
Earlier in the podcast, I asked you if you think this should have been 2 games. This is why.
Yeah.
The island sequence in concept is so cool, so badass. The idea that you're going to be sneaking into this island while you know your own people are going to be fighting it in order to, all the things going on. It's so epic. And then you play through most of it like you play through the rest of the game.
Yeah.
You hear in the background that people are coming, they're fighting, but you don't see it. And then when you do see it, it's just a chase sequence. You just have to run through it as quickly as possible. Dude, I would kill to have played this expanded sequence as a third Last of Us game. In my head, you could have cut it after the Abby flashback. That's your first game. Second game starts off with Owen onward.
Mhm.
And then the rest of the game, even you can even play a fucking fourth game considering the third act, but we'll
Yeah.
get there. A war story is where you
Mhm.
can really explore these things in
Yeah.
more interesting, more visceral ways.
Mhm.
You can kind of broaden out the commentary to be more social. Not that it isn't, it's definitely playing on that, but everything on this game on a thematic level is so surface level.
If they had done it, not even 2 separate games, but just 2 separate campaigns,
Right.
where you have the choice to go back in, I think that would be the better way to handle it.
Dude, I would have killed for like fully realize
Mhm.
you have the both like factions, like to be able to like play through like against or for them at different places,
Mhm.
trying to play them off against each other. No
Mhm.
fucking, or I don't know, figure out some way to incorporate the clickers, some shit.
Yeah.
There's so much grounds for some epic fucking gaming moments,
Yeah.
like gameplay moments. But it's just the rest of the fucking game. You're
Yeah.
just kind of hiding, going through. You kill everyone, you loot, you move on. You hide, you kill, you loot, you move on. And then when you really get down to what the game is supposedly building up to, Haven, the big city
Mhm.
where everything
That
seems
is
to be
also
going
on
to
fire.
shit. It's like I said, you just run through it. You're just
Yeah.
like, get out of here. It's
yeah.
over.
You don't get to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it
Would
works.
you?
Go ahead.
What if, as for Last of Us Part 2 or Part 3, you played as one of the Scars?
Yeah, right. Especially
Yeah.
the way this game bounces around with perspectives, you could have done a lot of
Yeah.
interesting things with that. This could
The-
have been a
the-
really great third game.
The big thing I think is though that before this game came out, when they first started talking about it, Neil Druckmann or someone said if the first game was about love and the extents to which you will go for someone you love,
Yeah.
this game is about hate and what you will do with that strong of an emotion.
At this point in the story, we get it. We get what
no,
the game
that's
is
true.
saying.
Yeah.
You know?
I just think they wanted to explore so many different avenues with it, but they did end up going through too many.
Yeah, without
And-
really going into depth with any of
Yeah.
them, which is the issue.
The thing that they go with most in depth though is Ellie's hate and where that gets her,
right.
which we're coming up soon.
We're coming up on that. Even on a visual level, it's fire, it's hatred, it's
Yeah.
hatred consuming all this. It makes sense. I get it. You
Yeah.
know? It is powerful within the context of the story, sure. But it's a story that at this point has been redundant for
Yeah,
hours.
no,
It's really been spinning its wheels.
It's been reinforced to the point
Over
where
and
the
over.
nail
It's-
has been hammered through the wood.
yeah, of the 20 times this game made the same point, this is the best one. But
Yeah.
it's still one of 20. All I could keep thinking is that this is so interesting. And it reminded me for a second of why the first game works so well. The way that it interplays what's going on in the world between what's going on with Joel and Ellie. So it makes it so good. Joel and Ellie is the gameplay, but we put everything in the context that we can save the world. We can put this to rights. You know, this is what it's all going to. You can figure this out. With this game, it lacks that. There is no greater...
There's no greater purpose.
There's no outer personal goal here. It's all
Yeah.
interpersonal. It's all what Ellie wants. It's all what Abby wants.
Mhm.
There is no greater all effect in the world except in this part.
Yeah.
So then after that, we go into the final parts of day 3. We go back to the aquarium. Abby sees Mel and Owen are dead. She finds a way to track down Ellie, and then the two stories converge. Chris, what happens next?
You have a boss fight with Ellie.
Yeah, a boss fight with Ellie.
I hated the boss fight with Ellie.
I was
Not
I was,
not even gameplay reasons. I just didn't want to fight Ellie
same.
because even though I've come to like Abby and like just who she is and how she plays, I don't want to have a boss fight with Abby. I don't want to
Well,
play a boss
yeah.
fight with Abby against Ellie. I want to beat Ellie.
Yeah,
But also, the worse you are at sneaking around, I think the better the boss fight might be. All I did is I would just walk around, and Ellie, she'll run the gamut of her arsenal. It plays very similarly to the David boss fight in Last of Us Part 1. But, like, there was a moment where I was around a corner, and Ellie popped up, and she laid down, like, a trap. And I was like, oh, this is interesting.
yeah.
It sucks that I'm about to get the final attack on her, though, because that would have been an interesting boss fight.
Right.
But yeah, no, she runs the gamut. Like at first she starts with a pistol, then she gets the shotgun, and then she gets the bow and arrow where she's completely quiet and setting traps. But at this point, the game was just
Yeah.
the
over.
boss fight was like, okay, I'm good.
Boss fight, and then we get the climactic moment.
Yeah.
What should have been the climactic moment.
Oh yeah, without a doubt,
Yeah.
because Abby, who's very a physically stronger person than Ellie, beats the shit out of Ellie.
Living shit out of
The
her.
living shit out of her. It looks like Ellie's gonna die.
Yeah.
And then Dina runs in, gets a knife on Abby, but doesn't kill her.
Right.
And then Abby gets a hold of Dina and is about to kill her. Ellie begs her not to because she's pregnant. And this is where I'm about to hate Abby because
Right.
she's about to kill Dina. I kind of understand why she's okay with it because her friend who was pregnant is dead.
Right.
But it's like, just don't, because
She seemed like she was relishing in it.
Yeah,
Like, even better.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's just
like-
the icing on the cake.
I understand your hatred, but now you seem like you're liking it a little too much.
Yeah, and this is where I love Lev because he's the one who stops Abby from taking Dina's life.
He stops the violence.
Yeah, even though the idea of the game is hate, there's also this undertone of unconditional love. Like, Abby has come to love Yara and Lev, and that saves her, that saves them. Lev's love for Abby and understanding of like what hate can do saves Dina's baby, and Abby.
And Ellie.
Yeah, and that's what I meant to say is Ellie.
Right.
His mom didn't love him.
Yeah, he grew up being hated.
Yeah.
For trying to be his true self.
Mhm.
You know? So he understands hatred better than anyone. He felt that hatred because of being him. Everybody else felt hatred because of what the world did to them.
This kind of saves Abby from running through the whole circle again.
I agree.
Because at this point, Abby is kind of a better person. Or after this, Abby becomes kind of a better person. She becomes more hopeful. Up to this point, she's been kind of this like
Soldier.
Yeah, I'm a soldier.
Yeah.
Like that's my bread and butter.
Here's the thing, man. Here's one of the most frustrating things about this fucking game. So much of it is well done, and so much of it is actually really well pulled off. Even like the ending, I think is like on paper, okay, it's kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
But man, it just doesn't play together well.
It doesn't.
Because of so many various issues, you know. And this is just another one of those moments where like speaking about it right now, talking about it, I'm like, huh, that is actually really cool how they did that.
Yeah.
That is. I wish I would have felt that when I was playing it.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot of it. That's the big thing. Is a lot of it is like as you're playing it, you're just so tired because there's so many moments where the game feels like it's gonna end.
Oh, dude, I think this game knows it's too long. Because if you notice, every couple minutes, like either Abby or Ellie asks, "How much further we got to go?"
Yeah.
And they say it throughout the whole game.
Legit.
We got a while.
Yeah.
You're hanging a lantern on a known problem.
Yeah.
Don't put a lantern on it. Fix the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Get some editors. Neil Druckmann, get some fucking editors,
Yeah.
bro. Like everything in this game would have been better if you just cut it by half.
There's a lot of times where you want the game to end, and it just keeps going.
I do think that is intentional.
Yeah.
Okay, Neil, I'll give you the credit. I do think it's intentional. I get why you did that. Man, listen, this is entertainment at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how dark a movie, a book, a video game, a song, no matter how dark you get, at the end of the day, you have to provide your audience with an experience.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be very mindful of how you craft that experience for people.
Yeah.
And I do think you made a good piece of art,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a bad game.
Yeah.
It's not a fun game.
It's not fun.
Simple as that. Like, congratulations, you are an artist, but you have failed
But
to make a good game.
I mean, this is the whole point of the of this part of this type of podcast, though, right? Is to explain like how narrative can affect a game as opposed to other forms of media. Because if this was a
Right.
movie, it'd probably be a really good movie. It'd be tiring. It'd probably be 3 discs, but
Yeah.
it'd be a good movie. If it
Well-
was a book, if
well-
it was a comic book, you know.
Well, yeah, here's the thing, though. And this is sort of getting back to the comparison I made last podcast about how video games right now are in the 70s in terms of giving to directors way too much creativity, which is there's a reason why things don't happen like that anymore. Is because in the 70s Hollywood did that, and then they got like 30 The Last of Us Part 2 in 1 year or 2 years, and they're like, okay, we need to start putting limits on these directors.
Yeah.
We need to start figuring out. Yes, they're very talented. Yes, they're incredible. But man, we got to put a container on this thing. You know,
Sandbox.
Sandbox. Yeah, we got to build. We got to put the sandbox.
You can do whatever you want. You want whatever you want with the sand as it's in the box.
Yeah, but stay in the fucking box.
Stay in the box, please.
Yeah. And I mean, I get the artistic instinct to want to break out of that box and to fuck with people. But man,
to subvert the expectations.
Yeah, which I mean, I think this game does. Again, like on a sort of craft level, this is very well acted. There are some amazing performances. There are some amazing written moments. There's even like moments of direction that are pristine, perfect. But it doesn't fucking matter because, like, I was so over all your shit. As a director, pacing is one of the most important things you gotta have, dude.
If you
in
start
your
off
head.
strong and then you get a little bit weak, you're gonna lose your audience's attention.
And if you don't plan for that, and if you don't plan for that sort of thing, and have like some good counterbalance, then you're just gonna make The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
This discussion is starting to feel final for a fucking reason. I think we both want this to be the end of the game.
Without a doubt. No.
I think we both really wish the game ended here, man.
Yeah.
But no, we got a little bit more to talk about here.
We get a
So let's start with the good, because it starts off good.
2 or 3 hour long epilogue. But yeah,
It starts off
good.
very good.
Yeah.
The farm sequence I actually loved a lot.
Yeah. I maybe would have liked it to just be a cutscene.
Yeah.
But
I didn't mind the gameplay.
Yeah,
It felt like-
I liked messing around with JJ.
Man, that baby is so well animated.
I know.
So well animated.
I know.
It moves like my newborn nephew.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So we start off with the farm. This is a very effective moment in the game.
Mhm.
You really do feel happy.
Yeah.
You really do feel at peace.
You feel kind of content. Like, I got fucked up, but at least I'm alive, and I've got the people that I love next to me.
And Ellie and Dina are so clearly happy.
Very happy.
It's so great. And then Tommy shows up, fucks it all up. We see that Ellie has PTSD from the things that have happened.
From Joel still dying.
Yeah, and even though
and getting fucked up by Abby.
Yeah, and even though it seems Ellie is gonna let it all go for good, she can't fucking help herself.
Yeah, and Tommy, I feel like is the big driver of that. I think Ellie would have eventually come to the conclusion of like, I got to do something about this.
Which is a very ironic turn, because if you remember in the first game, there was that point where he was trying to live a regular life, and he was like, I have nightmares about the things I've seen you do. And then he goes on to become his brother, essentially.
Legit.
Yeah.
I feel like the reason he kept coming back and scarred each time was supposed to indicate like how tortured and mangled he is on the inside.
No, I get it. It's
Like,
just funny.
Yeah. No, legit.
It's
It
just
really
really
is, because
funny.
it was like I was like, that's Tommy. Oh, we threw him over into the water.
He's been shot.
He's been shot
twice. He's been thrown over the water, and somehow
How is he still alive?
he just doesn't want to fucking die.
He's legit. He's the fucking Terminator.
Yeah, man. That's what we're getting at.
Yeah, but this is where I'm like, oh fuck you, Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy's the worst.
It's just so driven by this thing, and he's like, he comes to Ellie with the new information. Dina herself is like, no, we're done with that. Like, we did it. We fucked up. We failed. We're gonna live with it. And this has even driven him to the point where him and Maria have separated.
Mhm.
Like, this is taking everything away from him, and he's like, well, I can't do it, and basically calls Ellie a bitch for not wanting to do it.
Pretty much.
And gets into a fight with Dina. It sounds a lot like Joel from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Of the first game, I should say, where Joel doesn't want to do this thing, tries to pawn it off someone else. Like, he's taken Joel's role. Like, he sounds exactly like Joel when Joel came to Tommy to take Ellie off his hands.
Right.
So it comes full circle for him, and again, I just fucking hate it. And then Ellie wakes up in the middle of the night having the nightmares, decides to pack and head down to Santa Barbara, and Dina wakes up, tries to get her to stop, and realizes heartbreaking moment.
Dina's performance in this moment,
in this game.
Yeah, in this whole game, but specifically to me, this moment where she's begging Ellie to stay is what hit me just as hard as when Joel lost Sarah.
Yeah,
like the pain in her eyes, the
like on the verge of tears.
when she knows it's futile.
Yeah,
when she knows she lost, and she just she's just pleading.
Yeah,
and you know, again,
and
to Naughty Dog's credit, when it's effective, it's effective.
Yeah,
fuck, I really felt for Dina.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I really didn't want Ellie to go.
I didn't want Ellie to go either. Mainly because I wanted the game to be over. But
mainly, but
and I think that's where we get the ability to empathize with Dina, is because we want this to be over.
Yeah,
Dina just wants this to be over. She even says like, I live with this shit, but I do it for JJ and I do it for you.
We're just playing this. Like, Dina's been in this game. She's been like looking at the clock, waiting to fucking clock out for
legit
for about 24 hours now. Getting back to it, so, oh man, this is, you see, like, you hear it in our voices, people.
We're tired about talking.
We're tired talking about it. So then, as if this game wasn't exhausting enough, as if the bed hasn't been covered in enough shit, the game gets diarrhea. And then we get into protract long, it's not long, but I'm just so exhausted by this game.
Yeah, it's an extra, like, 2 hours.
2
maybe?
hours. Yeah, but man, cutscenes, guys.
Yeah.
Cutscenes. You guys do them all the time.
Yeah, my big problem with Santa Barbara is starting it off with Abby.
She's back with like nothing.
Yeah.
You're back at like level 1, and like it is literally like 2 combat sequences, and you're done with Abby.
Yeah.
But I was just pissed the whole time. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm fucking done, Naughty Dog. Come on, man.
Then yeah,
We go to Santa Barbara. Abby gets taken by the fucking rattlesnakes.
Abby and Lev.
Allie finds the fucking rattlesnakes. Allie goes and tracks down Abby.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all you need to know.
so-
We're gonna get to the final. Okay, well, so let's talk about the last part of the game.
I found a very interesting bit where like we brought it up earlier. This is where Ellie gets caught in a trap and she gets impaled by a tree.
Mhm.
It's not like life and death, or I mean it might be if she bleeds out. Back to Tommy. I feel like if Tommy got stabbed straight up in the gut, like in the heart or something, he'd been okay. He'd have walked it off.
Hey, here's the thing, you never see Tommy again.
Yeah,
after.
but no, I just thought it was not an underhand way. It's not subtle at all, but she's still walking through this with pain. There's a legitimate hole in her, and she's walking through it, trying to find a way to fill it, basically. And she thinks hate will do it. So we get to the Rattler's base. We kill a couple Rattlers, and then they're very demented people. They will.
Yeah, they are shitty people.
Yeah, if Owen was part of this group, it'd be understandable why he couldn't run away. Because if they caught him, they would have turned him infected, chained him up for entertainment.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite bits about this whole thing is that you can just let loose an infected and let them tear through, but eventually they'll get shot because it's like only 1 or 2 infected against like 8
a bunch
Rattlers.
of people.
Yeah. But yeah, you work your way through and you free some prisoners, and a war breaks out, and just dualism, like you said earlier. It's like there was a war that Abby kind of started, like let loose. There's a war kind of
Ellie lets loose.
yeah, just
Visually
on a small
very
scale.
similar.
Very similar, and it gets to the point where you find people who are strung up on like
Poles and shit.
and you end up climbing through with Abby and Lev trying to escape, and there's 2 boats. Visually I liked it because the air has been covered in smoke. It's very foggy, very gray, and there's nothing there except like you don't have any of your weapons.
Yeah.
You only have your knife. Well, no, you have your weapons. You have your backpack.
Yeah, she takes it. She places it.
She puts it in the boat. Yeah, but it's this weird. You're in this literal gray area of like, do I do this? Do I don't? And she comes up to Abby and says, "I can't let you leave." Abby goes, "I'm not doing this." Ellie smashes Abby's face in and threatens Lev's life, to which Abby finally starts fighting.
Yeah.
And it's this brutal bare knuckle fight between Abby and Ellie in the water at the edge, the seeming edge of the world.
Yeah.
It's been revealed when Ellie's trying to get this information. They've had Abby for a couple months.
Yeah.
Her hair is short. She's straggled. Like she's not as well toned as she used to be.
Broke my heart, man.
Legit, yeah.
It broke my heart because you're so used to seeing Abby with those big arms.
Mm-hmm. Just being buff and strong.
And then you see her and
she's starved.
Her braids been cut off.
Been cut off.
You know, she's as fucking skinny as a rail. I mean, she's still got some tone to her, but she ain't got no muscle.
Yeah.
And
she's still tough to fight.
You know, life took a lot from her.
She's been through the ringer with these people.
Yeah, and so before all this, because it does play into the end a little bit, we do find out that the Fireflies have a base somewhere in LA. She intends to go there. So anyways, we'll get back to that in a minute. So Abby and Ellie have this fight in which Ellie is about to kill Abby.
But unlocks a final memory.
Unlocks a final memory. Yeah. That's how it feels like, right? So I do want to talk about this fight, man. Because, again, when this game works, it works.
Yeah.
Like, this fight, I hated it. I hated playing it. I hated seeing all the violence. I hated seeing... It all felt so pointless. It all felt so meaningless. The game worked, man. It worked. It made it. I'll give it to you, Neil Druckmann. Whatever you wanted to do, you accomplished it. I was done. I so hated everything that I was doing. I got it, man. I still think you made a shitty game, but to your credit, you whatever you set out to accomplish, you did it. It worked.
Was it a good game? Maybe not.
No,
was it a fantastic?
Not even maybe. It was.
Was
it wasn't a fantastic experience.
Well, I was about to say a fantastic piece of art, but
It is. I can't even say it's fantastic because it has way too many wonky things in it. But it is an undeniable piece of art.
Yeah.
Because of this moment and because of what happens next. But this is when the game. It's when it's starting to come together.
In the process, Abby has bitten off Ellie's left index and ring finger.
Yeah.
Like the first 2 digits. So she's got little nubs. She lets Abby go with Lev, and they're left alone. She's left alone in this gray area. This very little gray area of like just not knowing what to do next. But she has this memory. And it's revealed that she had one final conversation with Joel.
I got the impression it was like literally like the day before.
It was literally
right?
the night before because that's when they had the party. That's when Dina kissed her first, and that's when they had the issue with his name is Seth.
Yeah, Seth. Yeah.
Ellie hates Joel for the truth of taking her from the Fireflies before they can make a cure, because he straight up says, or she confronts him in Flashback 3, and he straight up tells her, "Making a cure would have killed you."
Right.
And I couldn't let that happen. And so she hates him. But it turns out here that she talks to him and she says, my life would have mattered. Something would have, like, the world would have changed if I had died. I was supposed to die there and you didn't let that happen.
Right.
And it feels like more than anything, Ellie is tired of people who are taking her choice away. Because it wasn't her choice to be left alone by her mom. It wasn't her choice to go to the Fireflies. It's not her choice to
survive.
Yeah. And now it's not. Yeah. It wasn't her choice to live or make a cure. And now she doesn't have the choice to continue to hate Joel or reconcile with him.
Yeah.
Because it was taken by Abby.
Yeah.
So it's like the very first choice she ever gets to make is killing someone, and it's just gonna perpetuate the cycle of hate and killing, and sooner or later someone's going to come after her. So I think,
which I mean, honestly, like in the farm sequence, the original, like it was peaceful, but also in the back of my head, I was like, someone's going to show up.
Yeah,
someone's going to show up any second.
I thought Abby would show up.
Yeah, I thought when she was walking to that barn with the kid, I was like, leave the kid. Don't take the kid in there. Abby's gonna be there. Someone's gonna be there.
Someone's gonna be there.
Yeah.
No, when I came back and there was the horse there, and instead of it being Tommy, I thought it was gonna be Abby. I thought she was gonna have Dina at gunpoint.
Right. Something like that.
Yeah, but then Dina comes out and she's all calm and everything. I'm like, okay, so then it's someone we know. And it was Tommy.
Right.
Which, again,
yeah, fuck Tommy. So we get to the very final sequence of the game. I'll let you wrap it up, man.
Yeah, you come back to the farm, and once you enter the door, it's empty. It's nothing is there. Maybe some of the furniture.
Oh,
but
nothing
is there. Yeah, you walk throughout. I walked throughout the whole house. Nothing was there. No photos, no furniture, no nothing. Mm-hmm. And then you get up to the room, and you find all of Ellie's stuff in the corner.
Yeah.
And you play one last song.
Oh man. Okay. I just want to say really quick. Well, you go ahead and explain.
Go on ahead.
I do play guitar. Mm-hmm. I love playing guitar. Mm-hmm. Playing guitar is one of the most important things in my life. Mm-hmm. I would go crazy without it. So, finger trauma.
Yeah.
If I ever lose the ability to play guitar, that is honestly one of my biggest fears. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know what to do.
And
continue on.
This is where the message has been said, has been received over and over again, but this is the dot on the message of hate.
This is
takes from you.
This is the only punctuation mark in this entire
legit.
Run-on
it is an entire.
Game.
It is an essay of run-on sentences with no maybe some commas, maybe some semicolons, but maybe some parentheses.
This is the first fucking one.
No question marks, no exclamation points.
A lot of exclamation points.
A lot of exclamation points, but it's the type where it's like exclamation point, like 3 or 4 or 7 in a row.
Yeah,
and it's not like the final thing. It's just this is to denote excitement or anger.
Yeah, we finally get to the period.
This
at the end
is
of
the
sentence.
final fucking period on page 200 of an essay.
Yeah.
And Ellie is playing guitar, and like you said, is missing fingers. And I don't play guitar. I want to, but I feel like trying to play that song with 2 missing fingers.
Yeah, it
felt incomplete.
Well, it's impossible.
Yeah,
it's impossible. I mean,
so
because some of the chords she's playing, you need the other 2 fingers to complete it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So And now here it is. Everything, the house is, there's marks in the house. Like there's pieces of wood missing. And all hate gets you is an incomplete mess.
Yep.
It just leaves you in ruin. And it just ends with Ellie putting the guitar down and her walking out seemingly to Jackson, but we don't know where after that.
We don't know where, yeah.
And
it's a Western movie ending.
legit,
you know?
without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I've say that a lot, legit, without a doubt. But
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, no, it's that's what hate gets you. It just leaves you. It takes everything from you to the point where you can't come back.
So given your entire experience with the game, this is the last moment. How did you feel? How did you feel when it rolled? Do you think it was enough to make the whole story worth it, contextualize it, anything like that?
Just the final sequence with the farm?
No, yeah, just the last part with the farm.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Because again, you like both farm sequences are very indicative of the beginning and the end of the journey, where Ellie has everything she needs. She's with the people she loves, but because someone took someone from her, she goes on this revenge story, this revenge journey, and comes back incomplete, even more incomplete than she was when she lost the person.
Yeah.
If she had just, don't get me wrong, it was fucked up that Joel was taken from her, because again, she misses out on the choice to either forgive him and try to rebuild, because she even says herself to the talk of, I don't know if I could ever forgive you for that,
but I want to try.
And Joel says, I would like that. But that choice is taken away from her. And so, but now she's always going to have something missing.
Yeah.
And that's very obvious with the fingers. It came to a physical thing, and I think she realized that Tommy has been coming about this again and again and again and coming scarred each time.
Yeah.
And now she's finally coming back with a scar that will never heal. Like there's the bite mark, but that was kind of like an accident, kind of out of love.
You can't grow your fingers.
You can't
back.
grow your fingers back.
I do like the ending. I think the ending is very powerful.
The ending tied it all together for me. That's what's keeping it at an 8 for me, is the ending.
And it is a beautiful and concise finale, I do think. But like I said, man, like it's still saying, it's not saying anything this game hasn't said 12 times at this point, man. I mean, you said it really nice. I think this is the best way to have put this message. But man, I really don't. I'm done, dude. I'm done. I'm done with the series.
Yeah,
Chris. I'm done.
Yeah. If they come out with like some novels or some comic books or something, even a movie. I know they're doing an HBO series. I don't want to watch it. If it's gonna be about Joel and Ellie, I don't want to watch it.
Well, I mean, it's from Greg Mazin. I don't know if you've seen Chernobyl, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a great show. Chernobyl's amazing. For me, Chris, let's talk writer to writer here. I really don't think there was an initial spark within Neil Druckmann to make a sequel. I think I think he wanted to make a sequel. I think he knew everybody expected a sequel, and I think for years he thought, how do I make a sequel? I don't think he ever for years thought, how do I make The Last of Us?
Yeah.
I think The Last of Us is just something that happens organically after years of thinking about the story that you want to tell and nailing it down to its most concise and perfect form. I think that's why The Last of Us is what it is. Yeah. Big difference between that, though, is like I said, he's had his whole life to work up to that moment. It's the same thing with albums, with bands, which is why are so many like artists' first albums their best ones, and everything else sucks after that. Because they had their whole lives to make their first album.
Yeah,
they only had a few years to make everything else,
and then they're kind of pressured to make another one. After that,
this feels like a very, very talented person, a very intelligent person, a very thoughtful person who is doing their best to justify something that just really didn't have to exist. Man. It really didn't, because I at the end of it, I looked back on the first game and I thought, what does this make me think about the first game now? Does this change? Does it make the game any better? Does it make the game any worse? And it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything to the first game. It doesn't
if anything, it makes me enjoy the first game more.
Yeah, it makes me appreciate.
Yeah, it's so much better told, so much more concise.
Yeah,
is the thing.
Yeah,
even with the moments of levity, like walking around the campus, looking for the Firefly like science building in the fall section of the game. Even that's a very calm moment, but it doesn't like detract from the pace, because the pace is kind of set. I think the pace is dependent on the goal. The goal is to get Ellie from point A to point B to the next point. and in between that you can have violence.
Right.
But when the goal of the game is violence itself, the pace is all over the place.
Right. When I started this game, I think I might have touched on this a little bit earlier. I wanted to platinum this game.
Yeah. You mentioned
I
this.
bought the special edition controller.
Yeah.
I was ready, even after given all the hatred. I thought
Yeah.
it's all bullshit. It's just like
Yeah.
a bunch of racists and fucking assholes being racist assholes.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to love it just so I could say fuck it to those people.
Yeah.
A little bit
Yeah.
too, to be honest.
I mean, we still can.
No, I
The game isn't questionable. I mean, I don't know. The game isn't what it is because of
It
those
has
reasons.
merit.
Yeah, it's got merit.
Yeah.
But it's not terrible for those reasons.
No.
There are other reasons it's not that great.
But no, yeah, but at the end of the day, I gotta say it, man. I hate this game.
Yeah.
I hate the time it was over. Like I had like a day and a half where I sat down. I thought I'm actually kind of glad we didn't record this a few days ago.
Yeah.
Because this conversation would have gone a little bit different. But I sat down, I thought about it, and I was like, I couldn't think, except for the Rat King moment, I couldn't think of an enjoyable moment
Mm-hmm.
that was just strictly enjoyable.
Yeah.
I-
As demented as this is gonna sound, there are moments that I enjoyed where, like, as Ellie with a bone in my hand, back on the ground, just hiding in grass, listening for people around me.
the gameplay is
I had
the
moments,
gameplay.
I had moments of that where it was fun, but yeah,
The gameplay is the gameplay. It is a fun game to play.
yeah.
It is. But
It's just getting to all the it's weird. I think they knew this because once you beat the game, you unlock encounters where you could just play the encounters.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Which-
think I haven't
Well,
touched it yet. But
I think you could have done that in like from Uncharted 2 on.
oh really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, but I mean, again, like the gameplay is fine. I
Yeah.
ain't got nothing against the gameplay. The gameplay is great, man. But here's the thing: like the most frustrating thing about it, Chris, so much of it does work.
Mm-hmm.
So much of it is fucking really the ending, poetic, beautiful,
Mhm.
beautifully
I
stated,
mean,
quiet.
the Ellie putting the guitar up against an open window, and it kind of is reminiscent of the main
opening-
menu
Yeah,
for the first game with an open window, but it slowly zooms in on the guitar, and through the window you see Ellie leaving through the gate, and the guitar is kind of messed up.
Mhm.
It's taken some dings, and if I remember correctly, when Joel first gave us the guitar,
oh yeah, it was pristine.
It was pristine.
Yeah, mhm.
Yeah, so there you go, right there, indicative of what the journey will take on you. It'll chip away at you. It'll take away from you,
Yeah.
and even though you can function, you're not the same anymore.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I do think, like I said, as a piece of art,
Mhm.
purely as a piece of art, I do think it's well made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think everything that went into it, all the effort, all the talent. I don't want to underplay any of that because it's on the screen. It's all there. It's all executed very fucking beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate this. I really hate
Yeah.
this. I really hated this game, man. And I hate to say that word, even hate, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that in the sense that the game made me feel the emotion of hatred or anything like that. It's just that by the time it was all over, by
Mhm.
the time I had to like sit back and think about everything that all the time that I spent on this game, and all the time that I spent on this game, and I think about what it said
Mm-hmm.
and how it said it, I just keep coming back to that same
Yeah.
metaphor. Somebody saying the same thing 20 different ways.
Yeah.
And I can't forgive that, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I gotta agree with you there. It's kind of a bad moment when you see the screen fade to black or cut to black, and you're waiting with bated breath of what's gonna happen next, and then the music starts playing, and then you see the big logo Naughty Dog,
Yeah.
and you breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did. Like, Ellie walked away from the farm, was like, are we going back to Jackson? What comes after this? What's going on next? Do we go back to Ellie or Abby and Lev? Do we see where they ended off? What's going on? And then the music started playing. Naughty Dog came up on the screen. I was like,
Dude, yeah.
right next to my friend who was watching me play. She's like,
Yes.
thank fucking God.
Oh my God, yeah, you nailed
Yeah.
it. Because this game felt like it wasn't gonna end.
It didn't.
I thought,
It really didn't.
yeah,
like-
I thought the same thing. I was like, please, man, it's fucking ended, dude. I want to go to bed. It's
Legit.
late. At the end of the day, despite this game's many flaws, Neil Druckmann did do a lot of good things as a
Mhm.
director. He did pull off some amazing shit.
He
Here,
did.
He is obviously a very skilled storyteller and a gift to the industry. I
Mhm.
honestly believe that. But man, he ain't special. All right, he's just a fucking human being. Somebody, go grab that fucker by the collar and be like, "Yo,
You got to
calm your shit,
You got to
bro."
George Lucas it.
Yeah, you got to George Lucas it,
Yeah.
because I really do think this is a game director going crazy with an unquestioned vision, and I think he just got lost and he mistook the forest for the trees, man.
Yeah.
Lost the plot somewhere along the way, and I think a little bit of ego here. I think he looked at all he had, and if he had to cut some of it, he had to admit there's a lot of other shit to cut too. So he just didn't cut any of it.
Yeah. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Is he not the co-president of Naughty Dog now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Yeah, nobody's gonna tell this guy no. Their paychecks are depending on following the guy.
Well, I mean, and then a lot of them quit anyway. So
yeah, exactly. Man, I funny enough, I think there might potentially be a story to be told here about Neil Druckmann in pursuit of his artistic vision, causing what he did to Naughty Dog Studios.
Legit.
Yeah, I do. I don't think you can make this game and live with these images and these ideas day in and day out for 6 years and not go crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens.
No, at the very end of the game, I could understand why so many people kept leaving, because I'm just playing the game and I want to leave.
Yeah. So in case anybody didn't know, these episodes have been the backdoor pilot for a gaming podcast that me and Chris want to do, where we look at gaming narratives and their relationship with their gameplay. We don't really have a name for it yet, but expect something as clever as The Cast of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Overall, I think I speak for myself and Chris here. When we're done with the series, don't want anything to do with it.
Story's been told.
Yeah.
It'd be weird to come back for a third game and it's a completely different character.
Yeah, no,
So.
honestly, I do feel like we got 3 Last of Us games in this one Last of Us game,
without a doubt.
frankly speaking. But yeah, that has been The Cast of Us. That has also been the end of my interest with the Last of Us series.
Without a doubt. I'll go back and I'll play The Last of Us the 7th or 8th time.
Yeah, but
I don't think I'll touch part 2 anytime soon.
Yeah, so the next game we're going to be covering is What Remains of Edith Finch. Expect that within the next week. We are part of the Pop Counterculture Media, which includes the Mandatory Cinema Podcast, which is a part of the feed of. It will no longer be on the following episodes. Will no longer be on this feed. It'll have its own. And then Arts and Craft Beer, our interview podcast, talking shit with Angie and Ed. I think I told people why Angelina hasn't been on, right?
Yeah, she's sick.
Other than that, check out our YouTube and SoundCloud page. On YouTube, you can find me and Chris's short film, Unaired Pilot, which we are, at least I'm very proud of. I hope you are too.
I am too. Yeah,
we're very, very proud of. So go check it out. Check out our other stuff. Until then, I've been Ed.
I've been Chris.
And you've been awesome. Thank
you guys.
Whew. God damn.
Yeah.